Hey kids, Glenn here, and I've got another subscription box for you, and this time it is the collector's case. I alluded to this in my last video, the BAM box, because the collector's case kind of exists in a similar vein, similar space to the BAM box and a couple of other boxes. It's a case aimed at collectors. It's a box aimed at the collecting community. It's not so general as your loot crates or nerd blocks, which skew a little bit younger. This audience for these cases, these boxes, generally a little bit on the older side. So let's dig into the collector's case. But before we do, as I did on the last video, let's talk about what the collector case is trying to set out to do and what it's about. So straight from their website, the collector's case is about autographs. So it's got a celebrity signed item in select cases. There's another case that they have as well. It's called the Sure Thing, and that's the exact same box, except it costs a little bit more and you're guaranteed to get whatever signed item is going on in that particular month based on the theme. So if you want to take the mystery out of it, you want to take the random chance out of it, you can get the Sure Thing collector's case for a little bit more. But the normal collector's case box, autographed item in select cases or select boxes. So that's one thing. Number two, they value their box at $60. It's important to note that because very few boxes do that anymore, where on their actual site they're trying to get you to subscribe. They'll say, oh, it's a blankety blank value. But the collector's case does that. So they advertise a $60 value on this $25 plus $8 box. So that being the case, since that's one of their features, we're going to look at that today. So I'm going to look at the value of the items and see if they add up to that $60 value for this $25 price point. So again, it's part of the thing they're marketing it on, so that's something we're going to look at. And then the other thing is 4 to 6 collectible items. That's a pretty easy thing that's a pretty easy target to hit. Most boxes do have 4 to 6, and what you could call a collectible is so wide-ranging that they're pretty safe with that one. But those are the 3 major features of the collector's case. So let's dig in, see what we've got. The theme this month for February is comic book heroes. So let's check it out. Okie dokie. This is a big, heavy box this time around. All right, the collector's case is doing something similar to your Geek Fuels, where they kind of wrap it in a nice paper, holding everything together. Very cool. That gives it kind of a pro look. All right, we're going to start with a pop. Right off the bat, we've got Golden Age Batman. This is the Specialty Series Batman figure that came out recently. I actually have this figure, but it's also one of my favorites. I know there's a million Batman figures, and I have probably 20 some odd of them, this being one of them. But being a Specialty Series and a stickered one, it's good to see. I don't think I've seen a Specialty Series pop in a box before. So Specialty Series, they go out to smaller retailers as opposed to your big box stores. You're never going to see Specialty Series in a Target or a Walmart or a GameStop or anything like that. You don't have to actually be that big of a retailer of pops to be eligible to get the Specialty Series. You know, my relationship with Funko via my old box, the Hero Stash, I was able to order Specialty Series pops as well. So these are nice for smaller retailers to have their own stickered pop. And this is a good one to have because I just love this pop. The only thing about this particular pop is got a little bit of that concave. You see this sometimes in Funko boxes that are shipped in other boxes. They get this kind of concave warping on the very back. Again, that keeps it from being a mint box. I'm not big on box condition, but since I did already have this, this would have, this would be a potentially pretty good trade value pop, and it still is if, I can trade it for something maybe also in not mint condition, because again, I don't care that much about it. So good pop, good start. All right, let's look at the shirt. We've got a very bright orange shirt. And it appears to be a Batman shirt, but it's actually not just a Batman shirt. This is very reminiscent of Kevin Smith and his hockey jerseys and his Fat Man on Batman style. It's got the same colors. It's very reminiscent of that, which is very cool because, number one, there's Batman again. We just got a Batman pop. This is Batman oriented, but it's almost a mashup. It's kind of Kevin Smith oriented as well. So I'm very happy with this shirt, and from a cost standpoint, I kind of focus on that a little bit. A lot cheaper to produce this shirt than to get an officially licensed shirt, like a regular Batman shirt. Even even a mass-produced one is going to be a little bit more expensive because you've got to pay for licensing. In this case, you don't. So very cool design, very cool color scheme, reminiscent of both Batman and Kevin Smith. Excellent job with the shirt. I like what they did there. All right, this box is looking very Kevin Smithy. I know it's Comic Book Heroes, but we're going to kind of see that in this plush. We've got the Buddy Christ from Dogma. Very cool. Again, I'm not much into plushes, but this is more of a goof. It's a cool plush. You can kind of see it's from Dogma there. And this is actually, let's see. Yeah, it's licensed. It's from Diamond Comic Distributors. They they have the PX Preview series of pops. They obviously are a comic distributor, and then they have the various figures and plushes and dolls and stuff like that. So very cool. Something, again, you're not going to see everywhere. It doesn't, as the tag flies off, it doesn't really fit with the theme, though, of Comic Book Heroes, unless you're really thinking of Comic Book Men with Kevin Smith. There it kind of fits. This is another Kevin Smith item to go along with the t-shirt. So there he is, Buddy Christ. Very cool. All right. Well, I mentioned Comic Book Men, and we've got a Comic Book Men item. This is a Mini-Mates set. So the entire box set from Comic Book Men. Comic Book Men, the AMC series, normally seen after Fear the Walking Dead when that is on. It used to be on after the regular Walking Dead. But back in that day, it was coming on at midnight, and I never saw it, but I see it a little more now that it's not trying to be right after The Walking Dead. It's after Fear the Walking Dead. So there's all the guys there. And you kind of see the back as well, featuring, Kevin Smith in the middle there. All right, this is turning very Kevin Smith. All right, we've got another Funko item. This is a Batman pop pin. So we've got a pop pin of Batman. These are very cool. I like the way that Funko Pops translate to pins. Works really well if you collect pins. Pop pins are not a bad way to go. They're a little pricey for me. They're about $4 a piece in the stores and such. So for a pin, especially a mass-produced pin, a little bit pricey, but I like the pop pins nonetheless, and I enjoy getting them in the boxes. All right, looks like we have a comic. We have got Guardians of the Galaxy. This is modern Guardians of the Galaxy #1, as opposed to the old school one. So there's Guardians #1. And it's got a sketch cover. So budding artists can put their own design on both sides of the comic. So very cool. It's not bag and bordered or anything. I think the sketch cover does a good job of that, but that's something that you definitely want to throw in a bag and throw a board around it. Very cool. All right, we've got the spoiler. I like the way they do their spoiler cards, kind of like a dossier. It's like secret, right? And there's a spoiler card on the back, and then, or inside, and on the back is what's coming up next month. Now there's another item in here, and I think it's a bonus item. It is a Kevin Smith photo, a print with that's autographed right over his forehead there. This looks like it's from Montreal Comic-Con. You can see it down there. And the certificate on the back says the collector's case certifies the 8x10 photograph was autographed by Kevin Smith at Montreal Comic-Con on July 3rd, 2015. The signing was witnessed by a representative of the collector's case. So very cool. So this is obviously the autographed bonus item inserted in some of the boxes and in all of the Sure Thing boxes. So the Sure Thing boxes all got this, and I was lucky enough to get randomly selected to get one as well. So very cool. I'm not that much into autographed items. It's not a big thing for me, but it's cool when I get them, and this will definitely be something that I display at some point once I figure out how I want to do it. So very cool. And I'm always excited to get the bonus item that not everybody gets, so that's kind of cool. All right, that's it for that. So let's kind of roll back through the spoiler card a little bit. It looks like quite a few variants. That's what I like to see. I like to see lots of boxes that are different. I haven't rolled through everybody's unboxings yet, but it seems like we're all doing it at the same time, which is cool. But I'm interested to see what everybody else got. So up there, the first variant you see, I got the Guardians of the Galaxy #1. Looks like the other one could have been Spider-Gwen. Again, with the sketch cover. Very nice. I didn't even think about the fact that these are great for taking to cons and getting your favorite artist to draw something on there. So, Guardians or Spider-Gwen, there's Buddy Christ, there's the Batman Golden Age Pop, the Mini-Mates box set, their pop pin, looks like the pop pin could have been Batman or Harley. I actually already have the Harley pop pin, so I'm glad I got the Batman one because now I have both, just out of the luck of the draw. And then there's the t-shirt down the bottom, the Bat shirt. And it looks like there's 3 different variants for the bonus item. Bonus mystery pop, bonus Upper Deck Doctor Strange trading card box, looks like, and look for Stanley's autograph. So there's another variant thrown into the mix that's an autograph. So you could have gotten that. And then the one that I got, which was the 8x10 autographed by Kevin Smith. Very cool. I like the spoiler card. I think it's well done. I like that there's 3 different bonus items. I doubt anybody got all 3, but you never know. So it'll be interesting to see who got what, and then who got what of the variants. So very cool. Again, there's the back. Has what's coming up. March is featuring LeVar Burton, so obviously some sort of sci-fi box. And then April is Frank Gorshin, the Riddler, so it could very well be 1966 Batman or something with villains, something like that. So again, very cool. And you know, the requisite social media contests that all the boxes have now, etc., etc. I'm actually expecting something else from the collector's case. I got one of their popped boxes, so I'll be kind of previewing that and unboxing that later on as well. So let's take a look at what the case or what the box looks like as far as what they are all about and what they're trying to deliver. So if you recall, autographed item in select boxes. Bam. There we go. I got it. And there's another one to be had with the Stan Lee autograph in the Doctor Strange cards. So there's a couple of options there. So they definitely came through on that one. 4 to 6 collectibles. Well, we've got a pop. There's 1. We've got the Buddy Christ. That's 2. We've got the Comic Book Men Mini-Mates. That's 3. Got the pop pin. That's 4. Got the comic book. That's 5. And I wouldn't really count the shirt as a collectible, so let's say 5 plus a t-shirt, right? So they're in that 4 to 6 collectibles range. So they delivered on that for sure. And then $60 value, that's going to be the tricky one. So I'm going to actually whip right around and kind of research the values and come right back and we'll check it out. All right, let's talk value. Now I already scrolled all the values down along the bottom of the screen, so adding those all up, we're coming out at about a $64 value to the items in the box. So there you are with that $60. Now, a couple of disclaimers for those values is number one, the t-shirt. Now, I valued the t-shirt in that $64. The t-shirt took up about $15 of that. Now, I know most people, including myself, don't value these t-shirts at $15, usually $10 to $12 range. But the seller or the person that puts together the box, and when they say $60 value, they're going to up the values to the maximum of what generally people will pay for them, which is about $15 for a t-shirt. So even if you're kind of splitting the difference between 15 and 10, saying it's worth $12.50, you're still talking about a $61, $60 to $61 value for the box, even if with a low end on the t-shirt. So that's still pretty good. And the other proviso is that I didn't count this. So I didn't count the Kevin Smith autograph because these can vary so much, and it's an extra item, right? It's a bonus item. It's not something everybody got. So including it in that $6 value wouldn't really be fair because I got it, somebody else didn't. So this obviously ups the value of the box, but we don't know by how much, just because we'd have to negotiate and we'd have to get to where we're actually selling this. And that value could be different for me versus somebody else. So I did not count this on purpose. The other thing is the pop. Pops generally, I go by what's on poppriceguide.com, which is a pretty good indicator of what the closing of eBay sale is going to be on that particular item. So this came out about 17, but that doesn't mean I could walk into a store, comic book store specifically for these specialty series, and find this for $17. They might be charging me $25 or $19 or $20, whatever they decide to do with it, because it is a stickered pop figure. On the other hand, online you might be able to find someone that'll sell it for $15 or $13. So it's a difficult thing, but at least there's a kind of a central location, and Pop Price Guide is pretty good for general valuations on pop figures. And again, the box being a little bit on the non-mint side is going to lower that a little bit. Well, that's about it. Again, they kind of hit the three things that they feature and the things you like from Collector Case. And you know what? What I see in this Collector's Case, is that Collector's Case does a better job of having some balance in the box. You've got things like a Funko Pop, which is kind of a typical subscription box item, but it's one that a lot of people like. But then you balance it out with things like this. Autographs, chances at autographs, which you're not necessarily going to find in a Loot Crate or a Nerd Block. So it's a good balance. It's items that are unusual and funny and kind of goofy, like this, versus the items that you might find in a regular subscription box, like this. So it's a good, I think it's a great balance, and I always like boxes that have a chance of being upgraded. Bambox, just to kind of go back to that, used to do a much better job at that, as far as upgrades to their boxes, and the signed items I thought were better. I like the fact that there's a good balance here. They're not trying to be something that is... Bambox to me is like the hipster box. You know what I mean? They would probably rather die than put a pop in their box, right? Because it's so gauche. Right? They're trying to be very unique, very different, which is kudos to them. But I think the Collector's Case does a better job of having some balance between some fun items, some popular items, and some items you can't find everywhere else, along with those collecting things like signatures and pins and things like that. So I'm giving this box an A. I love it. I really enjoyed it, and I think I enjoy it more after reviewing the Bambox. I hate to say it, but I really like the balance to this box. I think they just did a great job of having things that are wow factor items, along with popular items that, kind of toyish items that people enjoy. So, good job, Collector's Case. I'd love to see your comments down below. Hit that like button first. But then also, let me know what you thought of this box. How did it compare to the other boxes? And as always, hit me up on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Stay tuned to Twitter and Facebook, particularly on Instagram as well, for more details on the next live stream coming up. I'm shooting for Wednesday, but it might be Thursday or Friday. I actually go on vacation on Wednesday, so I got a few days to kind of figure out what I want to do. So stay tuned for that. And as always, until next time, we'll see you later. Bye-bye.